All right, good afternoon, everyone, and a very, very warm welcome to a special masterclass today, coming to you live from IIHM Kolkata's global campus. As you know, there is a nice nip in the air. December is upon us. I can at home at least get a nice sweat of cinnamon and vanilla and all the goodies that are baking at home because yes, Christmas is here. It's celebration time and it's the season to make merry, enjoy life, and for some time at least forget all that is happening around us. It's definitely time to celebrate. And what better way to celebrate than having a fantastic meal with the family? But just to make it a little special, what we have with us today is so to say a platter of how to produce a fantastic table, how to lay a fantastic table for that special meal. And that is what we are going to tell you today. I am not allowed to reveal any more details. I am under strict guidelines as to not to reveal anything because believe me, you are in for a treat today. What I can see in front of me is absolutely amazing. The whole F&B team at IIHM Kolkata has done a magnificent job in getting before you, and I'm sure you will agree at the end of the class that it's going to be a smashing class. I am absolutely confident about that. But as I told you, we are coming to you live from the IIHM Global Campus. Unfortunately, some of you, I guess, have seen the global campus. Most of you haven't seen the global campus. I would like you to just take a look at the global campus facilities that we have. And may I request our IT team to play the AV, please. Over to you, guys.
IIHM. For a great hospitality career, join IIHM, International Institute of Hotel Management.
The International Institute of Hotel Management, IIHM, is a premier chain of hospitality and culinary arts training colleges in India. Present across 10 campuses in India and the world, we provide modern and advanced infrastructure and training facilities at par with leading hospitality institutions of the world. The IIHM Global Campus, located at Kolkata's IT Hub, is a state-of-the-art campus where over 50 countries of the world are connected digitally.
So for everybody at IIHM, first of all, it's a great space to be in. Hoteliering is the most comprehensive management course you can have. It teaches you marketing, production. It is like becoming a mini CEO.
The reason I'm standing here in front of you today is because I believe as a hotel school, IIHM currently is the best hotel school in the country because it believes in teaching you by making you do stuff. And what you do stays with you for the rest of your life.
The state-of-the-art screen above the central hall is a portal that connects IIHM students to over 50 different countries. IIHM's training cafes, lobbies and boardrooms are designed to bring out the best in the students. IIHM's global campus has a 150 occupancy state-of-the-art auditorium called David Foskett Auditorium after the renowned culinary author whose books have been a bible for culinary schools around the world. Masterclasses and guest lectures by international experts are the order of the day at IIHM. Ultra-modern kitchen that gives culinary art a different dimension. Real-time experience is the motto of IIHM, and students here learn and imbibe hospitality in their lives through the 3-year program. We at IIHM realize the need for continuous upgradation and believe in tech-based training in our colleges. Learning is both interesting and fun with expert faculties and spacious classrooms. Students at IIHM learn hospitality through practical experience and international exposure. And at the end of 3 years, they dare to do their dreams.
This is the one.
IIHM. For a great hospitality career, call 98310 50,000.
Of course, as they said, this is the one, and we are absolutely proud of IIHM And for all of you who haven't had the chance to come down to IIHM Global Campus or to our Enistat campus, please feel free to get in touch with us and we will be more than happy to show you around this magnificent building. So let's not keep you in suspense anymore. Let me introduce you to the gentlemen and the ladies who have made this possible. Of course, the full food and beverage department of IIHM Kolkata has worked tirelessly for the last 3-4 days to make today's class happen. Not to forget our food production department. And to take today's proceedings further, we have 3 of our finest F&B teachers. To begin with, we have Ms. Priyanka Saini, we have Mr. Saurav Mitra, and of course, last but not the least, the head of the department, Mr. Bhaskar Sen Gupta, is also going to make an appearance. Again, I have been told not to reveal anything. So let us start by calling upon Ms. Priyanka Saini to take the proceedings forward. Priyanka ma'am, over to you. And of course, a Merry Christmas to all of you from all of us, if I don't get to see you in between. All the best and all the best to you too.
Thank you, Smita ma'am. And how should I start? Smita ma'am has already said so many good things about what's sitting in front of me. The room is actually on that side. Let's start by saying not a good afternoon, but a Christmassy afternoon to everybody who's connected with us for this masterclass. Let me thank you, everybody, all the students, all the young ladies and gentlemen who have taken time out this afternoon to connect with us. And I promise there is a huge promise from the entire team of educators at IIHM Kolkata that it's going to be a fantastic session. And how do we say? We always say that we've got to identify students. What do we actually take away from a session? If you are there on the opposite side and if you are spending an hour and a half with us, the basic objective is what do you learn? Because we're all greedy, we're all selfish. We've got to make sure that we definitely take something away from this session. And it's a huge promise from all of us here who are going to speak in front of you and educate you guys today, this afternoon, or something which is very Christmassy, that you'll be happy after the session. There'll be a subtle smile on your face and you will feel good. So it's Christmas. The winter's kicking in, the days are getting shorter, and there is a smile on everybody's face. So it's that time of the year where the family members get together. They celebrate, they share happiness. So as I would like to quote something over here to everybody who's watching us, there is a quote by Mother Teresa, and it goes as this, that it doesn't matter how many gifts are there under a Christmas tree. What actually matters is who are the people who are standing around the tree. That's why we always say, my dear students, everything we give, everything we love, and everything we share is connected to Christmas. So on that note, let's actually quickly talk about what we are going to do over the next 1.5 hours. We've got a fantastic plan for all the students, and as Smita ma'am has already rightly said, she's actually stamped by saying that the teachers have done they've put in a lot of effort. The entire food production team at IIHM Kolkata, the F&B teaching brigade at IIHM Kolkata, we are actually very excited. And we've been thinking for many days that how not to make this just another boring Christmas layout table setup session and how to actually make it very exciting for the students. So we've actually come up with many diverse and many fantastic ideas, and we will actually take time out to move through the entire room table by table, and the people on the other side, you will learn. So on that note, let's actually take a quick preview of the room, and then once we've been through the room, we're going to come back over here and then we're going to start the session. So the camera is going to follow me. There's going to be some nice Christmassy music in the background. And then what we want you to do on the other side is just look at what you get to see. I promise the centerpieces which you will see on the table, the students, the beautiful, crisp, clean and shining setup which you will see on the table is iconic. And we will actually tell you how you can do these beautiful little bits and Christmas related things on your dining table in your house in a very, very cost effective manner. So let's begin the session by actually going around the room, and we will see what is in store for us. So there the camera is, it is following me. And we are into the month of December. We're all smiling, and question to yourself. What is the first word which comes into your head when you look at this table? Just keep it with you. So we have named it as the frozen Christmas table. Okay, let's move on. We'll come back to these tables. Now we're not going to a table, but we are going to a station. Not a railway station where the trains move in and out, but to a work station. We're not going to reveal what's going to happen over here, but something very special, something very closely associated with Christmas and something very closely associated with alcoholic beverage as well. And if I could just request the camera to move up, and we have Saul sir who's going to do some magic.
Hello everybody, wishing everyone Merry Christmas in advance. Can you solve on this?
Okay, let's move on. Let's look at another totally different setup which we just seen. If we can just get the camera a little closer, yes, look at that. So what is that one word which comes into your head when you look at this? Is it not very Christmassy? Is it not very much connected to Santa Claus, the man whom all of us love? Trust me, I'm old enough. I still get gifts on Christmas. I still don't know who's the Santa Claus. Probably my dad. And look at that. What perfect timing. We've got the Santa Claus playing in the background. Beautiful. So we are going to talk about this table in much more details when we come back to this table. Let's move.
Hello, and Merry Christmas to all of you.
Look at the different range of dishes which are sitting over here. All very, very closely associated with Christmas and dining. We will talk about them in details once we get to them. And don't forget, there's another handsome man over here, but then we like him better. Sorry, chef, no offense. So what are you getting for Christmas? I got a long list. I don't know who to give that list. I'm still thinking. I'm sure Daddy will get it for me. Okay. So thank you, chef.
Thank you.
Come back to you. Let's move on. Follow me. We're going to get a little close to this table. And there we go. Look at that. So now what's that one word which comes to you when you look at this table? Shining, happy, shimmering, beautiful, golden. So it's a happy Christmas. We're going to end on a very positive note. This year is going to end, I'm very sure it's going to end on a very positive note with some good news for all of us. Let's go. I'm sure Santa Claus will get it for us. Let's move down. And we're going to go to the master table. We're going to take some time out. And I would just request to just move through the setup so that the students can see what is there sitting on the table. I'm going to reveal a very big secret at the beginning of the session. Apart from the tablecloths and the cutlery and the crockery, students, all the centerpieces which you see, they have been handcrafted. From the candles to this beautiful wooden plank which is sitting on this table, to the creativity. We people can do craft. We can turn around ordinary things into things which are very, very beautiful. And this is what we are going to learn today. That's what I said at the beginning of the session, making it cost effective. You'll actually be surprised when I tell you how we actually curated the centerpiece. Okay, so if we can come back to the table, this is the master wooden table. It's got a rustic look to it. It's addressed as the Victorian Christmas theme. And we will once again look at it in much more details once we actually come to this table. And when we actually talk about the menu and the traditional meal And the dining etiquette, we are actually going to operate from this table. Okay? So leaving with you, all of you with that beautiful thought for a couple of seconds, just think about what you just saw. The different themes, the frozen theme, the Santa Claus theme, the vintage golden theme, the Victorian theme, the chef in one corner, and then one wine counter on the other end, which we will be talking about once we actually start. Okay, so let's begin, students. If we can just go away with the music. Okay. I hope all of you are with me. And on that note, let's begin. Let's actually start with the first table, which we have very creatively named as the frozen theme. When we all were sitting and we came up with this idea that we are planning to do a master class for students who are at IIHM, students who are interested within the field of hospitality, and we had this mammoth task in front of us. That how do we put the best thing across to the students? And we started brainstorming and we thought, why just do one table setup for Christmas? When Christmas is so diverse, it is so elaborate, and it's so much full of color. So we came up with 4 different themes, students. We came up with a frozen theme where everything would look as if it's a snow cap. So we did one table dedicated to the frozen theme. We are going to start with it. Then we came up with a typical traditional European Christmas theme where we got everything which is around the color of green and red, which is what Santa Claus wears and carries. So we did our best Santa Claus theme. Then we thought, why not do a theme which is all gold and shimmering, shining, beautiful and sparkling. And then we came up with this vintage Christmas table setup. And then when we did a little bit more on the research side, we found out that nowadays the generation moving on, people are moving more towards the rustic look on the table setup. So we came up with a fantastic idea of doing a setup on a wooden table with everything which is very contemporary, very rustic, and trust me, this is the best table for me which is sitting in this room. Okay, so with those 4 setups, let's actually look at the first one. If the camera will follow me, we are going to go to the first table, and we are going to talk about the frozen Christmas table setup. Now, if you carefully look at this table, I'm going to talk a little bit more on the technical side, but I will try to keep it as simple as possible. The idea, my dear students, is to make it fun. When we were setting up these tables, we enjoyed setting up the table. And trust me, when you enjoy doing a table setup, you come up with new ideas. And the moment you come up with new idea, it becomes a tradition. So look at this table very carefully. This table is ideally suitable for dining of 2 people. So we've got a guest on the right hand side and we've got a guest on the left hand side. We've set it up for 2 covers, and the entire theme is around the frozen concept. Everything is very icy in nature, a lot of snow-capped mountains and glass bowls. So let's actually quickly look at the table. If we just quickly come and zoom on one cover, I'm not going to get into the etiquettes and golden rules of table setup. How have we actually come up with the concept of matching colors on the snow setup? So we've placed the cutleries accordingly. What is the USP on this table? The USP on this table is the charger plate. Okay, this plate which is sitting on this table, it is called the charger plate. It is very simple. You can get this done back in your house also. All you need is a white plate, a serviette, a piece of cloth, and what is this? It is just a studded bangle. So you fold the serviette into a fan fold, you put it into the ring, and you just hang a Christmas bell. That's it. Just look at it. What difference it would make when you combine some simple 3 or 4 easily available things which are there in the house. And that comes up with a fantastic idea of serviette being put in a fashionable manner on the charger plate. Now we are going to look at the centerpiece, students. We are totally in love with it. And all of it, as we said, has been recycled. Look at these bottles. I'm going to slowly lift these bottles, one of the bottles. And how do you actually make them? You just have to get hold of an old wine bottle. Do away with the label. Pull out a creeper from the garden. Put the creeper in. Fill it up with water. tie a jute rope on the neck, and put a Christmas flower. Look at it. How does it look? Very, very aesthetic, very traditional, yet very contemporary. Now, the biggest beauty on this table, we actually saw this on the Google images, and then we were wondering, should we buy it? Should we make it? And then we thought, let's take the challenge, we will make it. So what did we actually do on this glass bowl? Just bear with me, I'm going to come back. It is a simple glass bowl. It is a fish bowl on which we put glue outside, and then we just ran it through some crystalline sugar. Filled it up with some pillars and with a red candle on top. And then what do we say? We wish you a Merry Christmas and a fantastic New Year. Is that not beautiful, students? I'm sure you would want to make it in the house. Now, I'm just going to remove a couple of glasses so that we can see what actually I want all of you to see. Look at this arrangement. What's actually there in this arrangement? If the camera can just move to this side. We've just taken an ordinary glass with some Christmas goodies. Christmas goodies filled inside. The Christmas balls and the pine tree leaves and the stars. And the glass has been turned upside down. It's been put flat on the cloth with a shimmer candle on top. Very, very simple. And as I say once again, extremely cost effective. Trust me, if you go to a standard shop, if you go to any branded shop, they will cost a lot. Scatter some Christmas stars throughout the table. And the last thing which you do is get some fantastic Christmas food made up and get the guests to dine. This is a classical, well-oriented, looking very expensive and classy, yet very cost-effective, frozen Christmas table layout. If you've got your mobile phone in your hand, I would request you to take a picture. We are just moving through the table, through all the centerpieces, through the cover, through the serviette, through the napkin ring, so that you get an idea as to how you could do it in the house. And trust me, we would totally love all the school children who have joined. We would totally love to have some pictures back from you. I'm sure you have the contact number. Get some table setups done. Send it back to us. That is the best gift which you could give to us for this Christmas. Okay. So that was the first table setup. I hope you have liked it. We have named it as the frozen Christmas table layout. And now we are going to move to the next one. So just move along with me, students. Now this one is once again very special. We were actually in a fix yesterday once we had curated up the entire room, and then Bhaskar sir, our head of the department, he actually started asking all of us, which one do you like the most and which one do you like the most? And then when he came to me, I was like, they're all my children. I cannot discriminate. At one moment, I'm thinking I like the frozen one, and then I'm thinking, oh no, this one looks more traditional. And then the next moment, I'm thinking, what about the shimmering one? And then why did you forget the Victorian one? So they are all at par with each other. So let's talk about this beautiful stuff which is sitting on the table. So if you could just move the camera to the table, and if the students could actually see what is sitting over there. Now we are going to look at the highlights of this table. Like when you get to see a cricket match, there is something called the highlights. Over here, in case of this table setup, the highlights are those little props which are there on the table, which are actually uplifting the entire setup, which are adding that charm, that beauty, that glamour, and that Christmassy feel to the table. If you remember the previous table, students, let's focus on this one. If you remember the previous table, how was the napkin placed? You had a round plate, you had a white napkin, and then it was put inside a white silver studded bangle. Now compare that with this. Okay, I'm going to remove this chair. Look at this. What have we taken over here? We have not put the serviette on the table. We've got a rectangle plate. Looks like a tree, right? A Christmas tree. It's actually a napkin fold with a beautiful, what do we call this? A stick with which the Santa Claus walks, and then a beautiful leaf just to give that little Christmas touch. And what is this? As simple as that. You've got this stuff sitting in the house. Take a shot glass, add water, add some cast syrup. Take another shot glass, add water, add some rubza. All Christmas colors sitting over there. The same thing has been done on the other side. Now let's look at the centerpiece. I just cannot get one fantastic word to define this centerpiece. What do we actually do on this centerpiece? We just buy a Christmas ring. Not expensive at all. Again, another fish bowl, a glass bowl in the middle. What's there at the bottom? Is it snow? No, it's not snow. It is just sugar which is sitting in your kitchen. Fill it up with sugar. Throw in some red Christmas balls, some Christmassy gifts, some pine tree leaves on top, and just fill up the ring with whatever Christmas goodies you have. And I want to particularly show this to the students, if the camera could come to me. I'm so happy I could make this. I'm going to move back. The concept was, there's a little bit of snow and there's a lot of red Christmassy color on top. Can you see? So this is another beautiful centerpiece where we've got sugar at the bottom. We've taken a fancy glass, a tall glass. We've got sugar at the bottom. We've filled it up with cherries. Or you can even use cherry tomatoes or baby tomatoes. And then you just tie a wooden rope, a jute rope over here, put some Christmas goodies and just dress it up. And there you go, bingo, put it on the table. One on this side, one on that side. Scatter some Christmassy stars and Christmas props. And what you get in return is this beautiful Christmas setup. So just let's take a couple of seconds and we are going to zoom through the iconic centerpieces which are sitting on the table. If there is a group of students who think that we want to learn how to make these centerpieces, if you like them, we can organize another session. Over here, we've got the finished product, the final product. If you actually want us to show from scratch how to build up the centerpieces, how to curate them, we'll be very happy to teach it to the students also. Okay, so that is the Santa Claus Christmas theme, Christmas table setup. Let's move to the next table setup, students. So let's keep a tally in our head. What have we seen? We have seen the snowy effect. We have seen the typical traditional Christmassy effect. Okay. Now we are going to go to the first table setup, which is very posh, which is very elegant, which is very classy. You've seen it. We are going to talk about the shimmering, gold, elegant, shining, Victorian, Vatican, whatever you want to call it, table setup. So I'm just going to move to the table and you're going to follow me. The camera is going to follow me. And we stop at the table. And the camera is going to zoom on the table. So in a glance, if I tell you pick up the master color on this table, it is gold. There isn't any confusion regarding that, students, and you will be amazed to know what are the little things which we have reused on this table in a very cost-effective manner to do up this table. Look at the centerpiece first. Okay, let me start with the napkin fold since we've been doing the napkin fold first. Once again, if we can just get the camera on the camera. Okay, I'm going to lift it. Once again, we just have a white flat plate. We've got a beautiful serviette. Obviously, you've got to invest in the linen. That's the basic requirements. That's something which we cannot curate and stitch. That's something which we have to buy. And how have we tied the serviette? If you've been observing, all the tables have had a different fold on the serviette. That's why we say the setup needs to be diverse. Otherwise, it's extremely monotonous and then it becomes boring. Again, we've taken a golden bangle. We didn't buy the bangles. I had them sitting in the house. Why spend money when you've got things which you can turn around? And you've just in a very aesthetic manner, you have folded the napkin, the serviette into the bangle with a Christmas bell. And when you put it on the table, you put it down in style. We've just tried to break the monotony. Instead of putting straight cutleries, we put them at an angle just to make it a little bit more different, just to break the sink. And now let's look at the centerpieces. Now, because this Christmas table setup is very special, we do not believe in giving just one standard centerpiece in the middle of the table. We try to stretch it across the table from edge to edge so that there is a pattern. And what do you actually do? I'm going to give you another trick. When you are actually doing a centerpiece which is stretching out from the right to the left of the table center, you must make sure it's not falling flat, number one. And number two, you also must make sure that it has got different heights to it. So there has to be some height concept. Otherwise, what will happen if everything is of the same height? It's as good as everything just being flat on the table. So let's look at what we have over here. I got a plate from the house. We put it upside down. Luckily, that plate was having a golden back. So we put that plate on the table and we had to buy some golden candles. So get hold of some candles, fancy candles, and put them, see very smartly, they are of different heights. Put them on the table. What do we have over here? The same concept again. We've got a wine glass which has been put upside down, and if we can focus here, we have filled it up with golden Christmas balls. So that's another way. Did you know we can reuse glasses not just as glasses but as a piece of decoration also? And there are so many other things you can do in terms of decoration with these glassware. And we had a very fancy dessert bowl sitting in our store, and there you go, the dessert bowl with a Christmas ball in it. Same duplicated on both the sides. And then you've got a Christmas bell, if we can just move over here. And the Christmas goodies which were bought scattered throughout the table. And very smartly, there's one thing I want you to see. Because this table had a golden look, students, we were not very happy with the white plate going on the table. So we thought, what should we do? Do you know what is a cake base on which we get cakes placed when we actually go get it for our birthday? We took that cake base. We put it flat on the table and a smaller plate was placed on the cake base, just to get a little bit more closer to the golden theme. So these little bits actually make a lot of difference. You've got to be very adamant. If it's gold, I'm not going to divulge. If it's white, it ought to be white. If it's red and green, it better just be red and green. If you start compromising, the entire table setup is going to go for a toss. Okay? So this was the golden or the shimmery or the shining table setup theme. And now we are going to go to the fourth table setup. I just hope, I've been talking for a long while, I hope the students are well engaged. I hope you are liking the concept, and I'm sure you're not getting bored. Okay? Let's move to the next table, students, which is the most contemporary. And if I would say in simple language, the table setup which is in, the table setup which is which we like doing, the table setup which probably you would want to sit and eat on. It's very European. If you actually do a little bit of research, and if you go into these small villages in remote corners of Europe, in different parts in France and then in Spain and then in Scotland, you will see they've got closely knit families. And when they are actually having their Christmas meal, they sit together on a wooden dining table. And they do it up in a very, in such a manner that they break the rules of table setup. There are a lot of condiments. There's a lot of woody effects to it. There are a lot of Christmas fruits on the table. The concept is make it easy. Don't make it very difficult. Don't make it very stuffy or claustrophobic. That's why we say it's a rustic or a Victorian Christmas theme. We have already seen this table, but we are going to once again zoom onto the table, and we will quickly just look at the highlights which are sitting on this table, and we will briefly learn how to make the table setup. Now we have already seen, my dear students, how we had done up these bottles. Looks beautiful. I'm going to go back home and get these done in my house also. All we need, we don't even need a tablecloth for this table. We need a contrast, similar looking runner in the middle of the table. And what do we actually need is a wooden plank. I'm sure there are many people who've got like work going on in neighboring houses, carpenter work going on. All you need is just a plank of wood which the carpenter just does not need anymore. And just buy some touch wood from any paint shop. And I'm just going to remove some stuff and paint up the plank. Okay? Once you have done that, some basic things can I have the lighter, please? Some basic things which are sitting on the plank, we have done it. I remember doing all of these yesterday with Saurabh sir and Bhaskar sir, and we were listening to music, and music also does magic. The music was fantastic, and we were doing a fantastic centerpieces. So we got some apples. We scattered some apples throughout the table. We got some artificial leaves. We just twined them around the wooden plank. Look at that. We never bought it. We just got it from the trees. Some just rustic cinnamon sticks. And these candles, it was a challenge. We did it. We didn't buy them. Just white candles, and then you get a jute rope, some cinnamon sticks, and just wrap them around. And just place them in such a way that there isn't any pattern to them. Some apples, some fruit, some cinnamon sticks, some pine leaves, and some candles. And then when we finally, I was actually waiting for this moment. When we actually light the candles up, you actually have that cinnamon effect to the table. These are like scented candles now. Wow, we can make scented candles also. Is that not beautiful? And then, whilst you are looking at the centerpiece, we would have 4 people dining on this very table, showing you how to eat 4 relevant courses belonging to a very, very traditional Christmas themed menu. So how do you like it? Students, ladies and gentlemen, everybody who's watching this session, is it beautiful or not? Would you want this to be done in your house? And trust me, every time you do a setup like this and somebody comes and asks you, oh my God, how did you do that? That looks something which is very complicated. And then you're thinking in your heart, in your head, oh yes, it was complicated. But then you're thinking, oh, it was very easy. And then things were also easily, like you could resource them out very easily. So that's about the Christmas table setup, students. We have seen 4 of the typical setups. So you can mix and match. You can decide which one you want, which one you like. And we celebrate this Christmas together with our families. Whilst you're still looking at the table, it's okay, you can continue to look at the table. The table is much more beautiful, I'm sure about that. So keep looking at the table, and I'm going to slowly talk about the menu now. So we are going to see a traditional 4-course Christmas themed menu. So what's there on the courses? We've got a soup course, my dear students. We've got a starter in the form of a salad. Then we've got a main course. And what could it be apart from turkey in the main course? And the last course is a classical Christmas dessert. So let me quickly tell you in a jiffy what's actually sitting there in each course. For the first course, which is the potage, if we talk about them in French, is the cream of broccoli and almond soup. A very, very traditional Christmas themed creamy textured soup. We are going to have it with some accompanying bread rolls and butter. And when we eat it, we are going to briefly tell you about the etiquettes of having a soup in the correct way. The second course which we have, my dear students, is the salad. Now we consider the salad to be an appetizer. As we say, salad has got a lot of nutrients in it. And when we talk about a salad which is related to Christmas, we obviously have to come up with a salad which has got all those specific ingredients which are related to Christmas. So for the salad, we've got a roasted sweet potato, beetroot, ham and walnut salad. So you see there are some dry fruits, There is a meat over there. There is beetroot, which is very rich in nutrients. So it's an amalgamation of nutrients. For the third course, as I said, if you are having a main course for the Christmas meal, you ought to have a turkey. So it's a roasted turkey with sage and onion stuffing and with some cranberry jus and roast gravy on the side. And what could we have for the sweet? Had it been any other day, we would have been happy with any other sweet which is there in Bengal. But if it is Christmas, we are going to do away with the non and good sandesh, and we are going to have we are going to look at a crock and bush, but we will have a very typical Christmas pie for the dessert. Along with that, the chef has been very generous to do up some fantastic Christmas related desserts on the buffet so that all the students can actually get to see what looks like what, and then you enhance your knowledge. So on that note, we're just going to disconnect and take a pause for a minute or so that you can reflect on the different table setups that you've just seen, and then we can do a little bit of transition on our side, and then we start with the dining etiquettes. So we're just going to go off the video for a minute or so and on the mute, and then please patiently wait. We are going to connect back in a minute or so. So thank you for being patient, dear students and everybody who is watching the webinar. Whilst we are getting the food across from the kitchen to the service area onto the dining table, we are going to move across to a very important person. Without him, no food. What would we do with raw vegetables and raw spices and raw meat sitting in the kitchen unless we would have not had a magician? And who's the person who does magic over here? It is the chef, who is full of creativity, full of technical knowledge, and full of aura, that aura related to the world of food production. So the camera is going to turn around, students, and what we're going to see, we're going to see a beautiful table full of lot of goodies which I want to eat, which all of you want to eat, and chef is going to do the honor. Chef is going to tell us what is sitting here.
Yes, thank you, Priyanka ma'am, and good afternoon and Merry Christmas once again. And Priyanka ma'am already explained about the menu, about the table setup, and as you have already seen the nicely setup of Christmas is related to gift, Santa Claus. Christmas is related to some traditional food. So I'd like to show you some traditional food. When we think about Christmas festival, turkey is the first priority. So roasted turkey with cranberry sauce. So we have roasted turkey here. You can just do this turkey, which is being marinated with acidic ingredients, with lots of herbs. We have used butter to make it very soft and succulent, and we have stuffed with sage and chestnut, and which is associated with the garnish like baked potato. We have tossed vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower. We have baby carrots. We have Brussels sprouts. We have chestnut and asparagus. Also, green tomato served with it. Cranberry goes well with this turkey. This is the traditional accompaniment of roasted turkey. Now come to the dessert. This is a Yule log cake. This is a traditional cake of Belgium, France, Canada, Switzerland, and this is the cake which is made of Genoa sponge, which is a sort of roulade like. It is rolled and then covered with the chocolate and the cream also given, and if this is always half exposed, this Yule log. So this is one of the traditional Christmas cake which is served in this festival. Now we'll come with another dessert. Actually, we call it a wedding cake, French wedding cake. This is in French we call it a croquembouche, and this is made of a soup paste. Soup paste which is made of flour and egg, which is cooked on a double boiler. Then we baked it, and it's become very soft. And you can see it is very soft, and which is being stuffed with custard, and which is shaped like a pyramid or a cone sort of things, and we just uh, decorate with the sugar, caramel sugar, and it goes well in wedding ceremony as well as in the Christmas time. All right. Okay, thank you. Over to Priyanka ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much, Chef. We are waiting to eat that food. And let's go to another very special place before we actually hit the dining table. I'm not going to leak out what is sitting on the table because I should not. We need to wait. We need to move across to the table and we need to see what magic is here on that table. So the camera is going to once again follow me, my dear students. And we are going to go across to Saurabh sir, who is doing something over here, and then he is going to tell us what he is doing. So over to you, Saurabh sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Priyanka ma'am. Good afternoon, all my students. Wishing everyone Merry Christmas in advance and welcome to the Christmas time. You know what's so special about Christmas when we talk about it? Okay, it's not all about a religion. Okay, and it's not all about the celebration, but it is all about a holiday and the festive season all across the world. I don't know how many of you are aware of that. According to the pagan calendar, which is the Jewish calendar, the festive season and the festive month is this time. So that's the only reason we call it a Christmas time. So understand what are we here in this counter, what we will talk about. Here, what I'm preparing is something we call a mulled wine. Okay, how do we spell it? It's M-U-L-L-E-D. That's a mulled wine. So mulled wine is a kind of a preparation where we actually heat up a red wine with the mulled spices. We talk about mulled spices and the fruits. Means we heat them up at the same time, which you can always see which I'm doing it. So actually this tradition, okay, it's a very, very, very substantial drink. It's a very, very substantial tradition to have mulled wine, to greet your guests with the mulled wine, and it actually started from Romans. Romans from the 2nd century. Now, from the 2nd century when it started, they started heating up their wines, and slowly what happened, the legions, means the Italians, now they are settled in France. Okay, they moved up with the mulled wine along the Danube River. They settled down there and they started feasting. So what is this? As a mulled wine is all about. Let us understand what we have it here. You can see what we have it here. Okay, let me just stir it a bit. Otherwise, it will a bit coagulate. Okay, so let's understand what we have. We have here a sugar syrup. This is a sugar syrup. Okay, this is a star anise. You can see this is star anise. This star anise we have got orange peel. These are the cinnamon sticks, a cinnamon bark we talk about. This is an orange, and we have apple. And not only that, we have a brandy out here. We have kept it separately. Okay, now please camera up here to the bottle, please. So students understand what I have done. Okay, I've put up a bottle of red wine, and this is a mulled wine I've already prepared. I've already served in a glass. Okay, and this the lemon peel is actually is actually been glazed with castor sugar and pomegranate syrup. Okay, now let us understand what am I doing it out here. Okay, can you sir please be here? Okay, so you can see this pan on this induction. We have actually poured the red wine, right? And we have immersed a few of the sliced fruits. We have oranges, we have sliced fruit out here, we have oranges, we have apple. Okay, but we have few things which I'm going to put in more. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put up a star anise and the cinnamon bark. I'm going to put here 2 cinnamon bark out here. It needs to be stirred. And then what on top? On top, camera up here soon. To me. Okay. So there are few more things which needs to be put up there. But what the process is all about is that we need to put a red wine. Okay. We need to put the red wine somewhere around 200 to 150 ml, and we need to heat up the fruits out there when we put the fruits into the red wine, and we heat it up to a certain level, and we have to heat it up to a certain consistency, okay, where it will become a viscous. It will come to a viscous consistency. Then we are going to put up there in that point of time, we put the oranges and the apple, not the star anise. And after that, when it reaches that stage of a viscous consistency, after that, again, after that we put the star anise and the cinnamon bark. And not only that, what I add here some more wine. I add here some more wine. And after that, you have to increase the temperature. 8, or you can put it 10. Okay. Then you stir it again. So the fruits and the spices and the cinnamon, they all get infused. Right? It's an infused. What is an infusion? It means, okay, from any substance, we extract their characteristics and it gets infused, and the flavor, the taste, you will all that will get in this wine. And then lastly, what we do, prior to that, there's a lemon peel, which you can see. We just squeeze the lemon peel out here. It contains the essential oils. So, can you like it? Yes. It'll give you a burnt flavor. Right. So, what you need to do, you have to heat it up. And then you put it there. And then finally, what we do, we add brandy. Mix it up properly. Wow, it's amazing. I feel like sitting there in the pot itself, right? I don't feel like pouring it out of the glass. So 1 cup for you, right? Go for it. What you said? Of course, why not? Okay. So put a slice of orange, wine, apple. So students, welcome. Let's welcome the welcome drink of the Christmas tide. We call it a mulled wine.
this time I'm sitting and we are ready to learn the dining etiquette. So we're going to start with the mud wine. Before we actually start with the mud wine, students, we are going to quickly look at some serviette etiquette. Why is there? Why do we use it? Now, when we are looking at the dining etiquette, it's like a huge chapter. If we start learning dining etiquette, it's going to take up a lot of time. So we are going to visit the dining etiquettes. We are going to look at them in a nutshell so that we get hold of some sort of good etiquettes which we can actually use when we are in the world of proper dining. And we're going to see the mud wine and the soup and the salad and the main course and the sweet course. So let us start the journey. Thank you, sir. So, what have I been served with? Bhaskar sir has very generously served me a beautiful cup of mulled wine, which has been curated by Saurabh sir. But before I go to the mulled wine, I'm going to get hold of this piece of cloth. This is not a fancy piece of cloth. It's there for a reason. So we don't open it up like that, up in the air. We actually do it very discreetly. We open up the serviette, we put it into a triangle, and then we put it flat on our lap. The idea is throughout our dining experience, we are going to use this piece of cloth if we need to dab something, if we need to wipe off something which is sitting on our fingers, or if there's something which slightly falls on our dress. So this is going to be very closely associated with us throughout the dining experience. So it is sitting like a triangle, flat on my lap. I've got a beautiful cup of hot mulled wine in front of me. It smells, oh, it's just truly awesome. And then we've got a range of glasses sitting on the table. If the camera can focus on the glasses, once, sir, thank you very much. Once sir has poured the water, we're just going to quickly talk about the glasses. We are familiar with having food with a water glass, but why do we have so many glasses sitting on the table? They're there for a reason. So we've got a glass which looks like a highball glass, which is a water glass, in which we are going to have water. Then we've got a glass which is typically a glass suitable for champagne. Then we're going to have a glass in which we are going to drink some white wine, and then we're going to have a glass in which we're going to drink some red wine. Now you must be thinking, there is a white wine which will be served, and then there is a red wine also which will be served, and the customer is going to get drunk. The idea is we're not sitting here for the concept of getting drunk. The idea is of food and wine pairing. When I'm having a turkey, I just don't drink any wine with it. There's a typical color. Either it's red or either it's the white wine which goes classically with it. So with some dishes today on the menu, white wine is the best friend, and with some dishes, red wine is the best friend. So I can see soups there already. So I'm just going to very smartly, remember when we are having when we actually following dining etiquette, we've got to be at our personal best. We've got to put our best foot forward, and we've got to be extremely posh and classy. So we just very smartly lift the cup, and then, oh, it smells awesome. Thank you, sir. Nice. I can get all those spices sitting over there, and then, as and when required. If I want to have a sip of water, remember when we are holding a glass of water, it would be very ugly if these glasses are so beautiful and so clean. So we should never just spoil the beauty by holding it right from the middle with all our fingerprints on it. So as we go back to the same concept, hold it from the tip of the glass, and then no matter how thirsty you are, you would want to finish off this entire glass in one gulp, but as I said, you've got to be very posh. One tiny sip. And let's put it this way, the water is also very yummy and tasty. Put it back from where you took it. And then a quick dab. So I'm just going to quickly, just slightly remove the cup of mulled wine. Okay, and just reposition this again, so that we can start with the first course. Now the first course is a cream of broccoli and almond soup, which is a creamy soup, which is very Christmassy, something very closely. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. So if you could just zoom onto the soup. Such a beautiful green color. I can see some roasted split almonds which have been used for garnishing the soup. And then there is a bread basket. These bread rolls have been baked in the kitchen. So whenever we are having soup being served to us, the idea is we get a soup which is like a creamy soup, and then we've got a range of bread rolls, and then, not to forget, I have my mud wine on the left hand side. I'm going to go back to it. I'm very greedy, very selfish. I'm going to finish it off. And then how would we eat the bread rolls if there isn't any butter on the table? So the idea is we've got to combine all the bits of the soup together. So we've got to have the soup, we've got to have the bread rolls, we've got to have the bread rolls with butter. And in style, very classy, putting our best foot forward. Let's look at the cutleries. I'm going to go to the right hand side, and I know when I'm having the soup. This is very technical. We've got to actually study the entire rule book of dining etiquette. But as I say, I'm going to tell you in a nutshell. So we lift the soup spoon. We all know this is the soup spoon. And we very smartly hold the soup spoon right from the middle of the spoon, not very close to the bulge, not very far away from the bulge. It's like holding a pen, my dear students, just the way we hold a pen, right? So you get hold of the soup spoon. Now very closely look at the soup plate and keep following my voice. Now what is the biggest problem with these creamy soups? The biggest problem is if you leave them unattended for even 10 seconds, they are like tea, chai. They develop a thick layer, a creamy layer on top. And what happens if you just start eating without breaking that creamy thick layer, you're going to get a big chunk in your mouth. So the idea is always use your left hand like the pinch finger hold to hold the underliner. And you see there is the back part of the spoon and the front part of the spoon. Back part, front part. On the soup plate, we have virtually visualized a clock. 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. So the first thing we do, students, when we start having a soup is we keep the spoon placed at 6 o'clock. And we are going to run through the spoon. We are going to just quickly run through the spoon from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock. And what do we do when we do that? If you could have actually seen very clearly, we break the creamy layer on top. Once we have done that, we are good to eat the soup. So you get the soup back, stop at 6 o'clock, stop at 3 o'clock. Just rub the spoon at 3 o'clock. Now when you are good to eat, if the camera can be in just such a way that the spoon and me both are visible, the spoon is not going to come to you. Okay, otherwise, see what's going to happen, you're going to spoil your dress. Neither are you going to go to the spoon. It's half and half partnerships, right? So the spoon comes up halfway, you go down halfway, and when you sip from the edge. Okay? And make sure you don't make that slurp noise. I'm going to make that slurp noise so that you actually understand what's not the slurp noise. Don't find it to be very tacky. I'm sorry, I'm just going to do it once. Sorry. So that's the slurp noise, which we will not make. So once again, once you have broken that creamy layer on top, you don't have to do 6, 12, 12, 3 anymore. All you do is 12, 3, rub it at 3. Thank you, Chef. Bread rolls, very quickly. You've got some butter over here. There's a side knife somewhere on the table. There's a side knife here. Okay? So you get hold of a bread roll. You ideally have a side plate on the table, so I'm going to use this plate as the side plate. You try to slit open the bread roll like a burger bun. Okay? Once you have done that, since this is an individual butter dish, I need not worry about the other one having it. Take some butter, put some butter, put the roll back, keep the plate. Bread roll in the left hand, soup spoon in the right hand. So what's the concept going forward? A little bit of soup, finish off the soup. One chunk of bread, finish off the bread, soup and bread, soup and bread. And you do this till you're almost done with the soup. So these are the basic etiquettes of having a soup. There are many more etiquettes which we would love to do in details maybe some other day. But for today, we take this much away for the soup. So once I'm done with the soup, the concept is, whilst I'm sitting here, the soup would be cleared off and the next course would be served. But since we are having multiple setups on this table, so I'm going to leave the soup set up here so that we can come back at the end and you can have a look again. and I'm going to jump to the next cover. And what we're going to eat on the next cover is the next course, which is the salad. So please kindly bear with me. I'm going to get up. The chair is going to make some noise. And I'm going to move to the next cover. Now please remember, I'm going to repeat it again. As a guest, you need not dodge and move from cover to cover. It's totally not required at all. And what I'm going to be served next is the salad. Thank you, sir. I'm sure you can see that plate of food on the camera. Look at the appeal. Look at the appearance. Look at the color coordination. It's totally beautiful. It has been curated in such a beautiful fashion that it looks a class in its own. Now, once I'm done with the soup spoon is going to go away. So I'm just going to remove the soup spoon. And on my table, I know that I'm going to eat the salad with the starter cutlery or with the small knife and the small fork. So now the biggest challenge is we need to learn how to eat with the knife and fork, which Saurabh sir is going to explain in a little bit of more details when he's actually having the turkey. Because you get to know the exact movement of knife and fork when you're having a meat. Not to forget about the friendship in between food and wine. So when I'm having this beautifully done up salad with some beetroot and ham and lettuce and walnut, I'm going to have a classical Chardonnay, which totally complements this dish, and it's going to have a lot of flavors when we combine this beautiful, delicate Chardonnay with this fantastically done up done up salad. So I'm getting the knife in my right hand. As I said, Saurabh sir is going to explain in details the movement of the cutlery. There is an American way of having food with knife and fork, and then there is an English or a European way of having food with knife and fork. The basic idea is you keep the knife in the right hand and you keep the fork in the left hand unless you're a lefty. And you're going to use the fork to pierce the meat, and you're going to use the knife to cut the meat. And when you're good to eat, the knife is going to stay wherever it was. You can just slightly lift it and the fork is going to come to you. And again, you eat it from the tip of the fork. Beautifully smoked off meat. So once again, pierce, cut, eat. Once you get into the practice, it's going to be easy. Every time you have to rest the cutlery. See, now I want to get a glass of water. You put it in such a way that it tells the person who would clear your plate that you're not done. The moment you put the cutlery together, he's going to come and clear it off. So make sure when you are taking a break during your meal, you leave it in this fashion so that the person knows you're still eating. And why not just take a sip of the white wine? We need to think about combining the wine with the food. So cheers to all the students who are watching this session. It's actually apple juice, so don't be too greedy. Don't feel jealous. Fantastic. The apple juice is also tasting like wine today. Why so? Maybe because it is Christmas. Okay, so that's basic etiquette as to how to have the soup and how to have the salad. Now we are going to go to the main part of the meal, and trust me, Saurabh sir is lucky. He's going to tell you how to have the turkey. So we're going to get up. We are going to go across onto the other side of the table, students. And he's sitting over there. Bingo, it's Saurabh sir. And sir will teach you the etiquettes to have the main course and to have the entremet sucre, which is the sweet course. So over to you, Saurabh sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And I'll take it forward from here. So the next course we are coming on something called turkey. So when we talk about turkey as a dish, it's very much a substantial food for the Christmas. So not only that, earlier in primitive days, we talk about a medieval period. People used to have this in the main course. They used to have beef, wild boar, but later on they have found that killing a livestock won't be the right choice, the right option, rather. So based on this, okay, the first turkey was been tasted by by King Henry VIII, and thereafter it got introduced. But you know, in our country, when we talk about our country, Christmas as a food, what it is there. There are different cultures, there are different regions, states. Okay, they have got their own regional cuisines, and they prepare something very special on that day particularly. But we talk about Goa as a place which has got more of an English influence. Okay, they serve an amazing vindaloo and sorbet, and that's a pork product. But let us understand that what we're going to have in a turkey. So mainly in our country and all across the globe, turkey it started from 1950, from Christmas when actually refrigeration came to the world. Okay, so let's move forward. Let's not speak much, but let's talk about the dining etiquette and how people have turkey. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So, students, the dish which I have it here is roasted turkey along with turned vegetables. We call it turned vegetables. So that's a cranberry sauce. We have it here. Okay. So we have the dish that is a roasted turkey. Along with, you can see these are baby potatoes with skin. Okay, along with we have some turned vegetables. We have carrot, we have leek, we have broccoli. So let's understand. Let me tell you. Okay, the cutleries. So we have broccoli, we have leek, we have cauliflower, we have turned carrots, we have artichoke. Okay. We have some mashed potatoes out here. So we have baby potatoes out here. So understand what we have in here, turkey, and let's understand how shall we have our turkey received. Okay, so understand at any point of time when we actually eat, okay, other than the Indian style of eating, okay, I understand that dish is looking so delicious. You don't feel like using cutlery now, right? You feel like you pick up the piece and start chewing it. Okay, we're using a hands, but no, I'm sorry, we are here for the dining etiquette. So let us understand what we have. There are two ways of having a food. There are two ways of using cutlery. One is American style, another is European style. So let's know what the American style is all about. Okay, when we talk about American style, I'm going to cut. Okay, they use both knife and fork at a point of time. So let's understand how do we hold it. Okay, so we always have a knife on the right hand side and a fork on the left hand side. So we hold the knife with the right hand and fork in left hand. Only reason being that you have to apply some pressure. Okay, but you cut it this way. And here you have got the fork, and here you have actually picked the meat. So as an American style, we talk about first we cut, and then we leave the knife out here on the top of the plate. And then what we do, we shift hands, and then we have it. So that's the American style of eating is all about. But as a European style, okay, is the way what we have actually been inherent from the British Raj, from British Empire we talk about. But that's the European style of eating. So what we do, we actually hold it, okay, at the same time, and we cut it, and we use our left hand, use our fork to have it. So understand how we have it here. The first thing is that I've already cut the meat, the turkey meat out here. Okay, then whatever you feel like, okay, you want to have some sauce, you got to lace the sauce. Some accompaniments along with it, and then you have it. Make sure you don't bang on the plate because there could be someone who is actually talking to you. It could be. Allow me some time. Yes. So now you can see we have an amazing. We have also an accompaniment. There is a lot of food and wine harmony here, students. Okay, there's a red wine which will be served along with turkey. Right. So at any point of time, let us understand when we are having our food at this point, when we are having our food, okay, make sure do not bend. Okay, you got to sit straight and you got to have it like this. You have a napkin out here that can be used to dab your feet, your mouth, and along with that. The wines also they have got a tradition, they have got a culture. When they should talk about wines, you got to look at the people around and you have to look at their age. So based on the level of seniority, you have to understand that the host or the person the senior most person on the table has to be the first one to start with the drink. And then you can start with your wine. Cheers, everyone. Take a sip out here. Whenever you're having your food at any point of time, you got to leave your cutleries like this. At any point of time, if you feel that you are done, okay, you can leave your cutleries like this. So that is a sign of the clearance. So understand, you're having the other accompaniments also. Okay, it might happen that every time it's not possible for you to have the meat along with the accompaniment. So individually, you can always have it. Let's have some carrots. So when you slice it, okay, you have to do it gently. It's not an axe. You have to slice it. There should not be any sound like this on the plate. So understand, that is what the level of decency you have to maintain. And along with that, you take some sauce and then you have it. You take a gentle sip from the wine glass. Thank you, students. That was all from the main course. I believe I've already spoken about the American and European style of eating out here. And then we're moving on to the next course, that is, we call it a dessert. But prior to that, we move into the dessert counter.
Hello students, now I'm going to show you one dessert from popular French dessert. Crepe Suzette. As you know, to make a crepe Suzette, we need a crepe and we need Suzette sauce. So I've already made the crepe, which is made out of flour, egg, milk, and you can add a little bit of butter or oil for a silky texture of this pancake crepe. To make the Suzette sauce, I have used sugar. This is basically made of caramelizing sugar along with the orange juice and orange pulp we use, and a little bit of orange zest you can see. I have used here, which gives a slight bitter taste and a strong orangey flavor you will get here. This is basically a hot dessert and usually served on in a serving dish, but you can serve it on a pre-plated also. I just allow you to let this sauce be warm. Now come to this part. There is a little bit of variation of the crepe Suzette. Generally, crepe Suzette goes just folding of the crepe Suzette and we toss it in the sugar syrup or the Suzette sauce. Now here we are going to stuff it with the frozen fruits. This is mixed of berries and some cherries. I'll go with a little bit of the stuffing. So once you give the bite, you will get a different taste. Then you go for a folding and you can directly cook with the sauce. I'm going to put another flame here. And the specialty of this Suzette sauce is you can see the texture, the consistency, and the sugar should be caramelized and cooked along with the orange juice, orange pulp, and a little bit of orange leaves we use. And to get a silky texture of the sauce, we use butter here. Now you can see this is almost done since it's a pre-cooked everything. Now I'm going to present this one. Just hold the plate near to the pan. So you will get a bicolor effect here. I'm just going to pour the sauce here over the crepe. A little bit of reddish effect I will give. Of course, you have to give the finishing touch. Well, this crepe Suzette, as I said, is usually served in a stuffing dish, but it can be flambé. Now, flambing of Suzette is an accident. It was previously served in a stuffing dish, but you know the story behind this flambé. There was a person whose name is Henry Carpentier, was the assistant waiter of Monte Carlo Cafe of Paris. One day when he placed this Suzette in a stuffing dish, by chance, accidentally, it caught fire. And he was totally ruined. Like he thought like that day is the last day for him. But fortunately, because the food was made for the Prince of Wales that day, so the prince washed everything, and when he tasted this dessert, that dessert was the best dessert he had ever. So that was the coming from Henry, and it's a long backstory behind the concept of flambeing this crepe. I'm going to use brandy here. Brandy is the best medium of flambeing. So just looks like catches fire, but because of the light, I think because of too strong light, you cannot see the flambe. This is the best. So this is your crepe Suzette. Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay, students, that was all from Chef Somnath, and something we talk about what he has prepared. That is based out of the crepe Suzette, that's a pancake. And let us understand what it is and what are we serving. So let us now, we are moving on to the next course, that is, we call it dessert. And let us sensitize, let us ignite our sweet tooth. So I'm pretty sure everybody loves dessert. Okay, it's actually needless to ask, right? And I can understand that, be it whatever the situation, whatever the time it is, okay, everybody loves to have desserts at that point. So we are waiting for the next course to move in. So out here we can look at the setup. So as a setup, we can see rest of the cutleries. You just think about it that we have always spoken in. On top of it, what we have done, okay, we have actually put this cutleries out here in a glass. This is something we call a dessert fork, and we call it a dessert spoon. Right. So these are the two, one a dessert fork and a dessert spoon we have. And what we talk about it, okay, you can see there's a rosemary all around. We put it forward. Okay, this is a more of a kind of a medieval style we talk about. Okay, we talk it's a more of a medieval style. Okay, so let's understand what we have in store for us in dessert. So this is we have got a pudding with custard. It's a chocolate pudding with custard we have out here, and let us understand how we have it. So you can see that we have a pudding on top. Okay, down there we have got the custard, and understand we have got a dessert spoon and a dessert fork. We have got dessert spoon and a dessert fork. So we always hold this dessert spoon in our right hand and the fork in the left. So let us understand how we have it. So with the help, we don't need a knife. Yeah, please. Oh wow, that's a flambe. You can see there's a flambe. Oh wow, that's burning. I hope you all can see this. Right, and that's actually caramelizing the powdered sugar out here. The pudding is turning more darker. We have, and you can see how it's getting caramelized. It looks like a sea of fat, an ocean we talk about, isn't it? A small pond. You can see the effect, the amazing effect out here. It's an amazing effect out here. Okay, now let's understand how we have it. We don't use knife out here. The dessert itself, they are very delicate. We don't need a knife. Okay, so we have a spoon. We can always jar in the out here. And you prick it. And then we have it here. Come out. And it looks like a small volcano. A normal volcano. It was active a few minutes back, few seconds back rather. And that's the way you can have your dessert. Right, so let's move forward. We'll move on to the next dish. Here. But as of now, we talk about this dessert. We don't need a knife on this. We need a small tray to go about it. Generally, dessert cutlery is actually placed on top as a dessert indicator. So when we talk about this dessert cutlery, we always place it the spoon on top with the handle right and the fork with the handle left. But that was all the flambe which we have understood. We're coming up with the next level of the flambe for the crepes. So here it is. How do you find it? Chef?
Yeah. Now it's came. You can see the flambe in a proper way. I think the light, because of the light.
Oh, but it's visible.
Okay, so that's a good clap for all the students, everybody who was patient enough and they move up with us from 2 o'clock all the way till 3:40 or something. So a huge thank you to everybody who has patiently stayed this session. A big thank you to all the teachers who have actually thought about this session, thought about the master class, and who actually wanted to come up with a very fantastic and well done idea so that we could show all the students some really relatable setup classical menu and dining etiquettes in association with Christmas. Okay. So on that note, we have Saurabh sir with us, who has taken a lot of time out, done a lot of research, and has come up with this beautiful concept. I would also like to call across Bhaskar sir, who is our head of the department and who's the actual man who's been thinking about this entire setup from the last 1 week. And we would also like to call the chef, because we're actually incomplete. What would we do with furniture if the food wouldn't should be in there? So it's a huge thank you to all the people who have watched our session today. And we are very happy that you took time out. And I'm sure if you would show interest, we would come up with more such sessions. So thank you to everybody from the entire team at IIHM Kolkata. I hope you all enjoyed. It was a well spent afternoon where we saw good stuff which has improved our level of knowledge. And on a final note, have a beautiful Christmas and a fantastic 2021. So that's a bye-bye in IIHM style. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.